That's the link to Rumble, everybody. Ending on YouTube, and to be continued in Rumble. And we got some stuff to come to. Nina Jankowicz. Sorry, I didn't mean to scream. I'm having trouble controlling the volume. We're going to YouTube to talk about Nina Jankowicz and Justin Trudeau and some other fun stuff. 3, 2, 1 on Rumble. Boom. Oh, righty then. Okay, let's see. We're good. And we are good in... Let's get ready to locals. Oh my goodness. They're showing, there's a picture of East Palestine in our locals community. What's been done there is an absolute abomination. All right. Looks like we're good. Okay, so what do we want to do? Do we want to do Trudeau or Nina Jankowicz? We're going to go with Nina Jankowicz. We've got to. Nina Jankowicz, also known as Scary Poppins, also known as... she had some other nicknames, which I'm not gonna go in. I'm gonna tell you one thing. My bias. I'm gonna show you my bias. I am predisposed to like Nina Jankowicz, Hank's wife in Breaking Bad. I am predisposed to like her because she looks exactly like Hank's wife in Breaking Bad. Now, I know Hank's wife in Breaking Bad wasn't necessarily the bestest of characters. I defy anybody to tell me that Nina Jankowicz does not look like Hank's wife from Breaking Bad. I mean, it's actually uncanny. Hold on. That's Hank's wife. Nina Jankowicz. Get ready. Images. It's uncanny. Especially that one. It's uncanny. So I like Breaking Bad. I liked Hank's wife. And so when I look at Nina Jankowicz, I still don't see Nina Jankowicz. I still see Hank's wife. Setting that aside, yeah, she was the kleptomaniac in the show. Nina is bat poop crazy. She was I got to pull up her bio because you won't believe what her bio was to have been appointed to the Ministry of Disinformation of the Biden administration. Let me just get her. And you know that when the Wikipedia itself is somewhat prejudicial, you know that it's bad. For those who don't know who Nina Jankowicz is, before we get into the fact that she's now asking for money to sue Fox News. Speaking of grifts, Nina Jankowicz, born yada yada yada, is an American researcher and writer. She is the author of How to Lose the Information War on Russian use of disinformation as geopolitical strategy, and How to Be a Woman Online, a handbook for fighting against online harassment of women. She briefly served as executive director of the newly created United States Department of Homeland Security's Disinformation Governance Board, also known as the Ministry of Truth. I mean, it's like, you know, Justin Trudeau calls it medical assistance in dying instead of euthanasia, because euthanasia has some baggage to it. Previous regimes had called it mercy killings. Orwell called it the Ministry of Truth. Joe Biden's like, no one's gonna like that. We have to call it something better. Let's think of something. The Disinformation Governance Board, resigning from her position amid the dissolution of the board by the DHS. Hold on, I just want to see, because here we go. Look at this. Career. Let me just get that out of here because I knew that was the information I was looking for. A double major in Russian and political science. That's almost as useless as my double major honors philosophy minor in Eastern European history. Imagine, I consider the minor good for nothing because I don't remember a damn thing of it. I consider my honors degree in philosophy. I wrote a thesis called Deontological Consequentialism, which I cannot find anymore because it was in my Yahoo account and they deleted my entire account. Sons of bitches, if I can swear one more time. I'll find a way to find my thesis, and then I'm going to share that on Locals. Oh, I'm going to sell that on Locals. I'm going to grift off my McGill honors degree philosophy thesis. I need to find it. Okay, sorry. She graduated from wherever there's been. She spent a semester in Russia in 2010. In 2017, she was a Fulbright Fellow in Kyiv, working with the Foreign Ministry of Ukraine. She has also served as a Disinformation Fellow at the Woodrow Wilson and the supervisor of the Russian and Belarus programs at the National Democrat Institute. Just bear this in mind, that she served as a Disinformation Fellow. Now, it's not clear how they mean it, if she was battling disinformation or propagating disinformation, but I'll answer that question for you later on. Disinformation Governance Board, we know what happened. She was appointed. Her social media history quickly came to the fore, and she was mocked into oblivion, as was the, what do they call it? The Disinformation Governance Board was mocked into oblivion. It was actually mocked into dissolution. Did you just hear my stomach growl? If anybody just heard my stomach growl. She had a role, allegedly, in combating disinformation, and she was the best of the best that the Joe Biden regime, what do they call it? Handpicked her to spearhead the first ever Disinformation Governance Board. She was mocked into oblivion. They dissolved the board when her social media past came up, and we're going to get there. But now she is asking for financial assistance to sue Fox News and Tucker Carlson. Jack Posobiec breaking the news. If you don't follow Jack Posobiec, I think everybody follows Jack Posobiec. You have to. I'm not going to play the full 5 minutes. We might play a lot of it.
My name is Nina Jankowicz.
I'm Hank's wife. You may remember me from such amazing series as Breaking Bad, where I was okay.
I'm asking for your financial support of a lawsuit I want to bring against Fox News for their malicious, reckless lies against me.
Okay, all right. Chat, who right now is channeling, what's his face? Bernie Sanders. I would like to ask you once again for your support. I'm asking for financial support for a lawsuit that I have yet to file, that I might think of intending filing. Malicious, reckless. We've got to go through this.
A year ago today, I realized a lifelong dream and entered public service as a U.S. government official.
Okay, so it goes on. I'm actually nervous about the music. Okay, so let's go. She gets her job. It's a beautiful job. A fellow at the thing. I got to get to some of the stuff. Here we go. We got to get to what Tucker Carlson said about her. Okay, look at this. Look at this. The malicious lies is that they were not a disinformation governance, but they were not the Ministry of Truth. They had no ability to actually censor. They were just there to advise the government. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. Oh, don't do that. What the flip? Okay, here we go. Let's try this again.
I'm asking for your financial support.
Okay, good.
Of a lawsuit I want to bring against Fox News.
Expand. Well, this is very annoying, people.
For their malicious civil rights and civil. Help the department ensure that its policies about its existing counter-disinformation work were grounded in American values. Privacy, civil rights, and civil liberties. That's all the board was. It didn't have the ability or the authority to act on its own.
On its own. It didn't have the authority to act on its own, but it would act on the recommendations of the Disinformation Governance Board.
After my position was announced, baseless claims that the board was an Orwellian Ministry of Truth and I was President Biden's chief censor spread.
Does she know what opinions are? Baseless accusations? No, that's pretty much what everyone thought this was going to be, because that's pretty much what it was going to be. Wait until you hear some more of the baseless accusations as compared to reality.
Even though the board had nothing to do with arbitrating or restricting speech.
It just was there to assess, make recommendations that I'm sure would not have been acted upon. Distinctions without a difference, also known as disinformation.
Fox News launched overly personalized, false, and incendiary coverage of me.
Overly personalized. I'm curious about that. False and incendiary. Let's get to the falseness.
Mainstreaming online conspiracy theories to tens of millions of...
There was one conspiracy theory regarding her gender that I don't think Fox promoted, and I don't think anybody with half a brain as to what is relevant cared about.
Americans. They lied about my role,
was hired to police domestic social media use, period. Is now the administration's official purveyor of truth.
They lied about and completely manufactured my past statements.
How chilling is it that this disinformation czar thinks it's okay for her to edit your speech?
I think that had to do with a question as to whether or not, oh, no, that's right. That had to do with her suggesting that other people, fact checkers, should be allowed to add or edit or add context to social media posts. Can you believe that she's trying to raise money on the basis of a lawsuit to challenge the things that she's alleging are baseless, overly personal, and dishonest? These are things that she recommended and as being described in other people's opinions. I mean, but give her money.
They called me a liar.
Nina Jankowicz is a conspiracy theorist who wants all Americans to believe her twisted opinions and lies are facts.
All right. So what's the accusation here? That she lied? Look, we're not going to do this for a full 5 minutes. There was something closer to the end that I think we should get to. Oh, now it's going to do the same thing again. Oh, is this annoying? I'm just going to go like this.
Jankowicz.
Yeah, here we go.
I'm asking for your tens of millions of their viewers. Tens of thousands have harassed me online. Hundreds have violently threatened me.
Threatened her with violence is different than violently threatened.
In addition to the deferral of my dream of serving my country, I've lost something irreplaceable: peace with my son during his first year in the world.
This is tugging
Fox
at all
can't
of the
keep getting
heart.
away with targeting Americans with their hateful rhetoric and lies. Trying to silence professionals doing their jobs is not journalism. It's vigilantism.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nina, are you talking about what the media has done to doctors over the last 3 years? Targeting, trying to silence? Are you talking about what the Biden administration has done for the last 3 years? Or are you talking about Fox News? I mean, this is the most egregious, in-your-face, categorical confession through projection imaginable. What they're trying to do is silence professionals doing their jobs. What? Hold on. I think I clipped that highlight. I want to get out of that particular one. I think I clipped that highlight. Here we go. This is it. Not now. Here, listen. Let's hear what she said again.
To silence professionals.
Here we go. Listen. Just listen to this.
Fox can't keep getting away with targeting Americans with their hateful rhetoric and lies. Trying to silence professionals doing their jobs is not journalism. It's vigilantism, and it's ruining lives.
So that's what
Fox can't keep getting away.
That's what they've been doing for the last 3 years. Vigilantism that has been ruining lives, and they've known it. Like smearing and silencing Dr. Robert Malone, like smearing and silencing Dr. Asim Malhotra, like smearing and silencing Dr. Francis Christian, like smearing and maligning. Geez, there's a lot more. Peter McCullough. I mean, no. It's Fox can't keep getting away with it. By the way, what did she criticize Fox for having done? Spread lies and have called her a conspiracy theorist? Oh, Nina Jankowicz. The internet is forever. And people don't forget. Let's just go through some of Nina Jankowicz's choice tweets when she is accusing others of lying about her being a conspiracy theorist or having promoted lies in the past. Number one, this is her, by the way. She's got half America, half Ukrainian flag in her bio. I thought she looked like an astronaut in this picture, but no. Number one, what year was this? 2016, November. Husband texted me, quote, "You have news to wake up to," end quote. "Never thought it would be this. Confirms our worst fears about Trump. I am horrified. I'm literally shaking in my boots." And who's she retweeting? Hillary Clinton. It's time for Trump to answer serious questions about his ties to Russia. And it links to a Slate article. 4 things you need to know about the Trump organization's secret server to communicate with Russian Alpha Bank. Here's the first thing you need to know about it. It was a lie. Donald Trump has a secret server. Am I wrong, Chad? Has that not been thoroughly disproven? It was set up to communicate privately with a Putin-tied Russian bank called Alpha Bank. When a reporter asked about it, they shut it down. 1 week later, they created a new server with a different name for the same purpose. I'm fairly certain this was categorically disproven. This was part of the whole Russiagate hoax. That's the first one. Sorry, that's the same one. Let's go number 2. Nina Jankowicz. It was a good week in November 2016. Trump had not one but 2 secret email servers to communicate with influential Russian bank. Unbelievable. You know who had secret servers and was communicating with Russians? The Democratic National Committee and Hillary Rodham Clinton. If we're actually trying to be factually correct here. Number 2. Oh, look at this, 2016. This one was earlier. Trump's Kremlin ties don't end at Manafort. This is serious, people. Quoting Kyle Griffin, never seen anything like this in an American politics. This is what they call the disinformation laundering. Hillary Clinton retweeting Slate, Nina Jankowicz retweeting Hillary Clinton, retweeting Slate. Right now, it's Nina Jankowicz retweeting Kyle Griffin, who's retweeting Hillary Clinton, and these circle of lies either get picked up by the media or were initially circulated by the media, then get re-referenced by the media, and what you have is a straight-up wrap-up disinformation campaign. Mutatis mutatis from what Nancy Pelosi once described it as. Nina Jankowicz, was this one more recent? Listen to this last night. Chris Steele. Yes, that Christopher Steele, the one who lied about the pee-pee hooker Russia hotel Steele dossier story. That Christopher Steele provides some great historical context about the evolution of disinformation. Worth a listen. But it's lies to have called her a conspiracy theorist, even though she fell for, promoted, and regurgitated a now disproven conspiracy. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Mueller couldn't exonerate Trump. He could only conclude that there wasn't what they said there was. In the chat, Circle Jerk, just the Alpha Bank story, I'm certain was thoroughly disproven. I'm forgetting offhand, but I don't want to actually make a factually incorrect mistake. Holy crab apples. We got Nirac 0. HRC took her server and classified documents. HRC was... Okay, I'm not reading the rest of that. Kyle Griffin is MSDNC. Selenium MC says, don't forget Biden taking cash from Russians. It is unbelievable, says. So anyways, that's what Nina Jankowicz, claiming to be the victim, is alleging were the lies of Fox News. I'm asking you once again to give me some money so I can think about suing. Give her money. Because Fox News lambasted this person because she was a liar, a conspiracy theorist, and she had been handpicked to lead the Disinformation Governance Board. Oh, and also, she did come off as somewhat bat poop crazy. Because if you're ever going to have someone in charge of the board of the Disinformation Governance Board, what you want them to look like is this.
Information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie.
Listen to what she says.
It's how you hide a little lie.
How do you hide a little lie?
Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine. Or when TikTok
Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine in the same way she shared bad intel from the DNC. Okay, let's see what the next step is.
influencers say COVID can cause pain. They're laundering disinfo, and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote. Oh!
This is the point of the show. We're going to say we're kidding. We're making all of this up.
It's Tucker Carlson's fault. You think Nina Jankowicz is crazy for that performance. Her voice isn't bad. And the message isn't all that bad. I mean, it's accurate. That's how disinformation laundering works. That's exactly what Nina Jankowicz did with the Russiagate hoax. Oh, sweet, merciful goodness. So if you want to help her support her lawsuit, you know where to find her. You know where to find her. Give what you can. Help her along with her intent to think about contemplating potentially bringing a lawsuit. And that's it. While you're at it, I would suggest get that money, just put it in a nice little pile, douse some very, very fancy vodka on it, and then just set it on fire while you're at it. Probably be a better use. At least you can drink the vodka afterwards. Tucker for the win again. Blue smoke 22-22. So anyways, I saw that this morning, and there was just no way not to talk about it because it's crazy. And imagine blaming the media for her losing her dream job because the government dissolved the Propaganda Ministry of Truth board because of the ridicule it got. But of course, I mean, they just got ahead of themselves. They didn't need the Disinformation Governance Board. They already had their moles and their intelligence already firmly planted in Twitter. They just overplayed their hand, as they always do. Oh, yeah. So someone said her gave her Twitter feed, her Twitter handle. I got blocked like real quick. I was surprised because I was talking about it, and other people were saying, "Wow, I'm blocked. I've never had anything to do with her." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not blocked yet." And then 5 minutes later, I got blocked. Obviously. Okay, Nina Jankowicz, a lawsuit that is bound to fail if it ever takes off, and I guarantee you it will never take off. And then the only question is going to be what happens to any money that anyone gave to that suit, because I guarantee you in the small print it says, I may use this for my lawsuit, and if I use it for any other purposes, you will not come after me for reimbursement. Although if anyone who did that for, had done that for Build the Wall, they would still find a way to come after them for fraud and yada, yada, yada. Okay, that is it. Canada, people. We talked about it yesterday with Richard Surrett. And if you didn't watch that stream last night, it was phenomenal. Richard Surrett is amazing. And I didn't even begin to tap into his knowledge and his wisdom. It has been alleged, it has been leaked by members of CSIS, which is Canadians Secret Intelligence Committee, something along those lines. Oh, CSIS. It's Canadian Secret Intelligence Services. It has been leaked to the media because Canada's Secret Service is so, what is the word when you've lost motivation? Discouraged? It's a dis word, people. Despaired. They're so despaired and they're so demoralized is the word I'm looking for, that they need to leak to the media recommendations that they gave to the Liberal Party that you might want to be careful because it looks like you kind of have been infiltrated by the Chinese Communist Party. Disheartened, demoralized, corrupt are some of the Canadian Security Intelligence Services. Thank you. Demoralized. They're so demoralized, disillusioned, disenchanted. These are all synonyms. Castrated, coming out of the Rumble chat. They had to go to the media because Justin Trudeau was not listening to their recommendations that the Liberal government, this is not, both sides do it. No, the Liberal government has been literally infiltrated by the Chinese Communist Party. Now, bear in mind, these are just accusations. These are just allegations resulting from a leak from people who are in the CSIS, Canadian Intelligence. And the journalist that broke the story is a reputable journalist with a track record of accuracy. So you can't write it off that it's just some lunatic with a massive fro screaming at his camera. This is being reported by credible journalists. And it's effing shocking. And I'm going to say this. What Justin Trudeau's what Justin Trudeau's foundation just did, in my mind, confirms culpability. But let's start with the story. And it's not me. This one's coming out of, I had to make sure that it's a legit enterprise, which it is, the Niagara Independent. We're just going to read some allegations. This is Canada. Remember when Justin Trudeau said he had a basic admiration, he had an admiration for the basic dictatorship of China. And I didn't know until I did the interview with Richard Surrett last night that his father also seemed to have had an affinity for communists. Oh, look how beautiful it is. That's Justin Trudeau in front of the flag of China. As recently released CSIS documents reveal, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and I'm not calling them the Beijing Party, because people will make a distinction between the Chinese Communist Party and innocent Chinese citizens and Chinese Canadians who are the victims of the Chinese Communist Party. And when Justin Trudeau and any of his bought and paid for media try to refer to it as the Beijing Party to not promote discrimination against Chinese Canadians and Chinese citizens, they are actually empowering the abuse by the Chinese Communist Party. Went to great lengths to influence the outcome of Canada's 2 latest federal elections. While the major revelation makes top headlines across the country, the Prime Minister continues to play it off as a non-issue. Doesn't just play it off as a non-issue. He suggests there's something racist about making this a big story. He suggests that he doesn't have to listen to CSIS because CSIS doesn't dictate who gets elected and who gets booted from office if it's determined that they were receiving funds from the Chinese Communist Party. No. Real democracy means security does not have any recommendation or any role to play in saying, boot somebody from your cabinet because they are a compromised Chinese asset. Not me writing this. Who is this? Chris George, 5-minute read. We'll read it in 3 minutes. The Chinese Communist Party covertly influenced Canada's 2019 and 2021 general elections in order to re-elect a Liberal government. Oh, but if they really did it, why would they do it to influence only a minority government? They wouldn't do it. They would have done it for a majority. Sorry, I don't mean to make fun of stupid arguments. Let me steelman the stupid argument. If the Chinese Communist Party were going to interfere with Canadian federal elections, why would they only do it to ensure a minority Trudeau government and not do it so egregiously and produce results that no one would ever believe in their right mind and cause it to result in a Trudeau majority government? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I answer the question, that stupid question, by infusing it with facts that make it look like a stupid question? I went door to door in the 2021 election, getting signatures to run for the People's Party of Canada. I lived in Westmount Notre-Dame-de-Grâce region that has gone Liberal for the last 3 decades, save and except for one time when, because of the riding map, they went NDP when Jack Layton was involved. My riding goes Liberal as a reflexive rule. I jokingly said I could have run my dog for the Liberal Party. I could have vote Winston for the Liberal Party, and Winston would have gotten elected. But over 50% of the riding votes Liberal. I don't even think so I went door to door in that riding. I did not meet one person who liked Justin Trudeau. Now, some of you are asking, how would I know? If I'm running for the PPC, they wouldn't tell me they like Justin Trudeau. Well, when I went door to door, they didn't know who the PPC was until I mentioned Maxime Bernier, and some of them actually refused to even sign so that I could get my name on the ballot. Everyone hated Justin Trudeau. It's like everyone loves Raymond. Everyone hates Justin. Everyone. And even longtime Liberals were saying, I don't know if I can vote for Justin this time. He's too much of a sack. I'm going to vote NDP. And I'm like, good, go waste your vote getting someone who's no better than Justin, a seat. Nobody liked Justin. The idea that Justin could have secured a majority government, that would have been like Joe Biden getting 81 million votes. I'm joking. Okay, sorry. So the argument, well, if they're going to interfere, why wouldn't they just make sure you got a majority government? It's a stupid hypothetical. A, because it would be implausible, laughably so on its face, and require a little too much fortification. And B, a Trudeau minority government, when propped up by the noobs at the NDP, is not much worse than a Trudeau majority government. So set that argument aside now. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau does not want Canadians to know about the Chinese operations in Canada. These are 2 threads that are woven through a never-ending story of intrigue, scandal, false narratives, serious matter, yada, yada, yada. Last Friday, the Globe and Mail published a full front-page story by veteran parliamentary reporter Robert Fife and Stephen Chase about clandestine operation run by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, to unduly interfere in the outcome of Canada's latest election. The news story begins, by the way, just what does this sound like? What does this sound like? China employed a sophisticated strategy to disrupt Canada's democracy in the 2021 federal election campaign as Chinese diplomats and their proxies backed the re-election of Justin Trudeau's Liberals, but only to another minority government, and worked to defeat conservative politicians considered to be unfriendly to Beijing. Sounds a lot like that Time magazine article describing a secret cabal of well-funded individuals across all ideological spectrums who were changing the rules, changing the laws, controlling the flow of information. We'll skip to the essential stuff here. For days, the Globe and Mail ran a series of articles outlining a number of disturbing facts obtained from top secret Canadian security intelligence services, documents leaked to the paper. The CCP's foreign interference during the 2021 election included undeclared cash contributions, get that out of here, to candidates, misinformation about conservative foreign policy. Where does this sound familiar with? Having businesses hire international students to volunteer full-time for Liberal candidates, and providing cash refunds to donors for the portion of their donation not covered by federal tax credit. It's all allegations, people. In their news article, I'm just going to keep the paragraph I'm reading at the top. Fife and Chase also reported that the CCP is executing a strategic plan to target Canadian legislators, government officials, and business leaders, as well as academic and research and development institutions. CCP tactics include espionage, blackmail, bribery, and sexual seduction. Fang Fang would like to have a word with the CSIS. Blackmail, bribery. Remember a while back we talked about these apparent Chinese police stations that are, or Chinese security stations on Canadian soil? What they're only offering assistance to Chinese nationals. Oh yeah, it's assistance in that you have family back in China. We know where you live back in Canada. We can ruin your family's life in China if you don't do what it is that we're demanding that you do. That type of bribery. I mean, it all makes sense now looking back, but unfortunately, life can only be lived forwards. PM Trudeau's immediate response to the Globe and Mail front page story was to ignore the substance of the revelations, and he expressed concern over CSIS's leaked reports. Trudeau, in so much as said, "Move along, there's nothing to see here," it's certainly a sign that security within CSIS needs to be reviewed, and I'm expecting CSIS to take the issues very seriously. What's up? What do you want? It's on the floor. Get out of here. The dog got the bread. The dog got the bread. Take this and go give it to Mom, please.
Okay, Mom's not here.
Get out. Okay, well, it goes on. I'm going to share the link. Although if you followed us on Locals, you would have already seen this. For years, Trudeau and his ministers have downplayed suggestions of foreign interference in Canada's elections. The past few months, Trudeau has denied possible interference or nefarious activities by the CCP. This is the same CCP that Trudeau's government was training Chinese soldiers on Canadian soil for winter conditions. I was going to swear. Global News reporter Sam Cooper has also come forward with the evidence of a 2017 memo prepared for the PM that specifically warns of CCP influence on Canadian officials and institutions. The PMO memo was written by the Office of National Security and Intelligence Advisor at the request of the PM's Chief of Staff, Katie Telford, and provided the Privy Council clerk. I mean, I'll share it. It's worse than anybody could have actually possibly imagined. I mean, this is what it looks like when your government is penetrated by the cabinet of the world government. I'm joking, but I'm not joking. You have Klaus Schwab talking about having penetrated over half of the cabinet of Canada. And Justin Trudeau, he was one of my young global leaders. Yeah, he's very good. He follows good orders. He implements things without questioning. He's a very, very good young global leader. WEF, by Klaus Schwab's own admission, penetrating half of the Canadian cabinet. Justin Trudeau, I mean, just to put it all together now, training Chinese soldiers on Canadian soil for wintertime combat, donating 16 tons of Canadian PPE to China in February 2020, knowing the pandemic is coming, as a result of which long-term healthcare facilities were under-equipped, ill-equipped, and suffered seriously terrible consequences as a result of being under-equipped. Justin Trudeau, what was it? Taking the Trudeau Foundation, taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from Chinese billionaires. And we talked about it yesterday. The person that Justin Trudeau suggested should look into this was the same person who was involved in the Trudeau Foundation when they were receiving funds from Chinese billionaires. Hold on, let me get that article. Don't trust me, by the way. Oh, but David, now you're trusting CTV News when you called them liars all the time. Sorry. Let me not mock the stupid argument. Let me just steelman it. Viva, aren't you a hypocrite for calling CTV News captured media, wholly bought media, purveyors of propaganda and disinformation, yet you rely on them and trust them when they run a story revealing the corruption of the very government you suggest pays them off? Yes. First of all, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I use them specifically as the source because when they finally are compelled to bite the hand that feeds them, when they're finally compelled to tell the truth or to make admissions that run contrary to their historical narratives, to their historical defense of the government, you know that they are more credible of a source. Because if they didn't have to do it, they wouldn't do it. But they have to do it because it's too damn obvious now. And do I care where the information comes from when it's a news source confirming that the Trudeau Foundation is going to return $200,000 donation over possible connection to China? Oh no, I'm going to use it because this means that it must be even truer that they are finally compelled to admit it. But even when they do admit it and they're compelled to, rat out their boss, rat out the person that's been subsidizing their activities for, years, they still have to cover his ass. Possible connection. It's possible. Trudeau Foundation to return $200,000 donation over possible connection to China. Listen to this, people. This is just, it's too much. The Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation says it is returning $200,000 it received 7 years ago after a media report alleged a potential connection to Beijing. Do you see how they did it? So no, CTV News will remain government-subsidized propagandists, purveyors of disinformation, because even in the outrageous admission that they have to report on, listen to the qualifiers. Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation says it's returning $200,000 received 7 years ago. So long ago, you should have forgotten about it by now. After a media report, they won't say which one, alleged potential connections to Beijing. How many qualifiers do you have in there? 4 by my count. The Globe and Mail, citing unnamed national security source, published a report on an alleged plot by the Chinese government to influence Justin Trudeau after he became Liberal leader. The report alleged a Chinese billionaire was instructed by Beijing to donate $1 million to the Trudeau Foundation in 2014, a year before the Liberals came to power under Trudeau. The report says that he and a second wealthy Chinese businessman donated $1 million in honor of the elder Trudeau in 2016, including $200,000 to the foundation. There's that old expression, I judge myself by the enemies I've made. Well, you can also judge yourself by the friends you've made. When the, indirectly, maybe directly, Chinese Communist Party is donating millions of dollars in honor of a family member, I'm not sure that's the type of honor that you want. Pascal Fournier, the president and CEO of the Trudeau Foundation now, which the Prime Minister has not been involved with since becoming leader. Isn't that convenient? Says the amount has been refunded. Oh, well, if it wasn't a problem, why would you refund it? Fournier's statement says, his statement, did anybody call? Let me see, maybe they did call him for additional statement. Fournier's statement says we cannot keep any donation that may have been sponsored by a foreign government and would not knowingly do so. Oh, we wouldn't knowingly do so. And the only reason we're giving it back now is that a whistleblower from Canada's secret intelligence services ratted us out. Well, now that I've become aware of this problem, of which I was entirely aware beforehand, but now the public knows about it, we're going to give it back and we're going to try to make ourselves look virtuous in doing it. CTV News, could you run an article that makes us look virtuous while we admit to treasonous wrongdoing? The Canadian press could not immediately reach the individual at the center of the report by the Globe and Mail, and said Tuesday he did not immediately respond to a request. This report by the Canadian press was first published March 1st. The moon sets above a Chinese flag in Beijing Thursday. Oh, what a bizarre picture to use as the image. So nothing to see here, people, and you're racist for thinking you see something. Oh, and let me see here. So One to Go 2017 says, even if Trudeau returns the $200,000 in campaign donations, the purpose of the donation was re-election. Returning loans is not justice. It accomplished exactly its intended purpose. Not just that. Interest, like if you're lucky enough, you could get 5% interest if you have, if you have any money to invest with government bonds. But, the argument goes you double your money every 7 years if you're lucky. Well, that should be $400,000. What? Sorry, I got distracted. It's me again. Sai says, Viva on fire today. Look, I get distracted by trolls sometimes, and I get distracted by flattery. $200,000. Here it is. Thanks. Mission accomplished. We've trained your soldiers. We've given you our PPE to the detriment of our own people. Oh, shit. We just got ratted out by a whistleblower in our Secret Service. I'll give it back. CTV News, Associated Press, be kind enough. Make me look good while you do it. Don't ask me too many questions. Oh, God. Excuse me. That wasn't a fart. That was the handles on my chair. Nothing to see here except the fall of your country into literal communism. I feel like an idiot because now, I laughed early on in the pandemic. I didn't laugh. I saw that meme. It says the end stage or the next variation, the next variant of COVID is communism. Canada has turned into a communist totalitarian regime under Justin Trudeau's leadership. No buts, no nothing. It's as clear as frickin' day. Oh, well, on that subject, hold on a second. I noticed a chat. Right over here, good sirs. Here, 2 Rumble rants. Uncle Kenny says his real father was a commie. Rachel Gilmore South. Okay, Uncle Kenny. So I'm not. I talked about it yesterday. I'm not going to revel in Rachel Gilmore being laid off by global news. I don't revel in her misery. Period. They're all going to learn the wrong lessons. And by the way, there will be infighting. Rachel Gilmore, she was doing it already in some of her tweets yesterday, is going to go after global news. And maybe global news would be profitable if they weren't a propagandist fecal rag that they are. And maybe they'd be able to employ their journalists if they weren't a propagandist fecal rag that nobody wants to even, lie in a birdcage with, digitally speaking. And maybe the journalists would have kept their jobs if they had put a little pressure on their employers and saying, no, the people want the truth. The people, despite what you think, are not stupid. And they can see through this crap. The people aren't cool with $800 or $600 million bailouts to print media. They're not cool with people getting their tax dollars to subsidize their own incompetence and demonizing of those very people. They're not cool with that. Do your job, do it well, and typically success will follow. Typically, not always. Sometimes there is no justice in the world. Okay, so let me see. Do I have any more about Justin Trudeau being a closet communist? No, I am going to give Pleb a shout out. And I know that he's going to clip this again and say, Pleb, behind the CPC, geez Louise, the PPC. I said, my only problem with the PPC is that the letters are too close to the CCP, People's Party of Canada, the party for which I ran, and the CCP, which is the Communist Chinese Party. No, it's the Communist Party. Whatever. He does good work, and I won't apologize for saying that. And he's kind of funny. Here, hold on one second. Let's just give this a few seconds.
Everyone needs to have this.
Nobody needs to have that. I don't know what it is. Limited stock. I need to get one. Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pleb. Ni hao.
That should be enough. That should be enough for all of you to want to go check it out. The Pleb may say idiotic things on Twitter, and he's damn well within his rights to do it. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek. But that's some funny stuff. Pleb has the sense of humor that if I were a bit of an edgier content creator, I would do. The music, the intro, go watch it. But I think we might be done with Justin Trudeau destroying Canada and turning it into an absolute state of communism. I think we looked at this yesterday. Yeah, we did. This is 2-7 weeks in custody. This is just Canada arresting a pastor. 2-7 weeks in custody. Look at this policeman.
Is there a reason you're blocking me from using the sidewalk?
Obstruction. They're working here.
Obstruction. They're working here. Look at this. I wouldn't pick a fight with this guy. They're arresting a pastor for protesting an age-friendly.
We're just going to stay at our workspace.
Stay out of their workspace.
Do you mind if I ask you what he's being arrested for? Are you going to provide your identification? Pardon? Will you provide your ID? It's for you to answer the question.
It's not a police state, people. If you say it's a police state, you're being hyperbolic. The amount of people who told me I was being hyperbolic when I said Canada's turning into a police state. That was during curfew when you couldn't leave your house at 8:30 after 8 o'clock at night. I got called hyperbolic. No. You want to give me your ID so I can know who you are and where you live, so that if you ask me a question and do something with the information afterwards that I don't like, I can show up at your house as a member of the RCMP? Show me your papers and I will answer your question, sir. Ow. I gotta stop banging this thing. Yeah, no, Canada's not a police state. This is totally a free country. Arresting pastors because they were protesting what do they call it? An age-friendly rhymer arrested pastor. Pastor arrested for protesting an age-friendly drag show. Just trying to find one decent article. It's actually kind of amazing that more people are not reporting on this. Pastor Reimer, it's not Jim Reimer, it was Derek. News. It's amazing. This is the original story. It's amazing. The only outlets that will really cover it are the fringe ones, so that people who don't want to believe this is happening in Canada can pretend it's not happening in Canada. Calgary pastor threatened with arrest. Well, we know how that story ended, for disrupting drag queen story time. Western Standard. Western Standard, I think, might have a bit of a bias. So if you want to write off the facts as being tainted by bias, go ahead. Full disclaimer. Pastor Derek Reimer is physically thrown out of a drag queen story hour being hosted by the Calgary Public Library. Remember, people, get mad at the pastor for protesting and not mad at the fact that there is a drag queen reading hour, story hour, being hosted at a public library. So play it here.
The cops just showed up to my house this morning, wanting me to go down to the cop shop with them. I can't get a hold of my lawyer right now, and I'm not going to go with you guys. I'm not really sure what's all going on, so I'm not comfortable with that.
Look at this guy just
coming with me.
Yeah, that's right. So you guys just do whatever you got to do, and I got to go to work.
I'd be terrified.
And, we'll take it from there.
Guy's got a gun.
Just so you know, if I put warrants out for you, you're going to be stopped driving your car will be impounded, you can take him to jail.
Where is this guy from? Like Boston?
What's the charges?
Mischief and causing disturbance.
Mischief?
Okay. In relation to the YMCA seat on the weekend.
Right. Okay. I understand.
Totally normal. Mischief?
Can I give you my card? If you change your mind, you can get a hold of me?
Sure.
Okay.
Seriously, where's this? This guy sounds like he's out of Goodwill Hunting.
I'm not interested in playing games, dude.
I'm not interested in playing games with you, so let me show up at your door without a warrant and ask you to come with me. We'll just take you to a government-designated quarantine facility.
That's my card.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Change
you.
your mind.
Yeah. Thanks.
If you change your mind. Wow. That's actually terrifying. The video starts off with Reimer opening the door to his house. Yada, yada. We just saw that. Okay, fine. We can go with this. But where is the video of him interrupting? Here we go. This is it.
I'm not. I'm using voice memo. Okay. We don't have our cameras. We are now calling the police.
Stop. We're trying to read. We're trying to have a drag reading hour for children at the public library. Will you please leave? I thought it was a public library.
It's your choice to leave or deal with the police.
Very abusive in there.
We aren't going
For
to.
love is love.
I'll be fair to Reimer. He kind of took a dive here. He kind of looks like a European soccer player a little bit. Oh, what just happened there? Oi. Kind of took a dive like.
I'm not. I'm using voice memo. Okay. We don't have our cameras.
Oh, what is wrong?
We are now
Right now.
We have the police coming, so it is your choice to leave or deal with the police.
Very abusive in there.
We aren't
For love is love. That looks like very hateful. Very
Mischief, by the way. Arrested for mischief. Cuffed and hauled.
As a parent of kids in there, you need to get out.
Why are you so uncomfortable with this conversation? Because we don't want to disrupt the public. You were disrupting anything. I wasn't disrupting anything. Nothing. It's all you would like to do this in a different way.
There's children in there trying to have.
Indoctrinated with evil.
I think the problem is there's adults in there trying to have fun. Yeah, let's do sexually inappropriate things with children. For the children.
We aren't supposed to be homosexuals and transgenders. Those that do this will not inherit the kingdom.
Now I may
No, we're not
disagree with
gonna
what
take
he's
this
saying
outside.
here.
We're going to stay right here. This is freedom of speech. I can speak as I please, and I can speak my religion. And what happened in there is abuse, right? And they physically threw me out of there, which is all recorded. So I'm happy that their faces are recorded.
Scaring children.
You guys are indoctrinating children with a lot of wicked, vile.
Do we know what they were reading to the children?
We're talking about it right here. And we're coming down to more and more of these shows to say that this is not okay, that this is wrong, that this is evil. To have a pervert dressed up like that is wrong and evil. So children.
Stop yelling in the library. That's the mischief. He wasn't using his indoor library voice.
The homosexual agenda is sweeping the city and the globe, and we got to come against this. We got to stand against it. Now is the time.
Now I'll disagree with Reimer. I'll tell you why in a second.
We need to rise up, guys.
I will disagree with Reimer. I do not believe homosexuality is a sin by any means, nor do I believe being transgender is a sin. Full stop. I believe that reading anything, sexualizing anything for kids is objectionable, very seriously objectionable. And for those who are saying, well, it's not, it's just a drag queen or king, I don't know who's there. They're just reading ordinary books to kids. There's nothing sexual about it, to which I'll say, it may be arguable, but I'll tend to agree with Jordan Peterson's take that the mere act of dressing up as another sex for the purposes of drag purposes is itself sexual by nature, period. And that the only reason that people are deriving some form, the adults are deriving some form of pleasure by doing what they know is fundamentally naughty, by dressing up in drag and reading to kids. Because if nobody knew, and this was just reading to children, and someone was dressed in drag and nobody knew, the individual would obviously not derive the same sense of satisfaction that they do derive when everyone knows they're a man dressed up like a woman reading to children. Maybe that's controversial. I don't happen to agree with Reimer's position that homosexuality is a sin, but I'm not a religious person like that in any event. I understand people believe it's a sin. They're entitled to their beliefs in as much as they don't act out anything on an individual who they believe to be a sinner. There's plenty of people who believe I'm going to go to hell or that I'm a sinner for other religious reasons. They can believe those things so long as their beliefs don't interfere on my freedoms. But this is what that guy just got arrested on mischief. This, presumably the same provision of law that Tamara Leach, Pat King, I'm forgetting a name now. I'm forgetting names, were arrested on and detained for lengthy periods of time. Uncle Kenny put up a link, a Twitter link. I don't know what it is. Let me see what I can get this. So anyways, that's it. No. Cops show up to your door days later as if we don't have, I'll say, real crime in Canada, as if we do not have actual real crime in Canada, that this is what our resources are being diverted to. We have real crime in Canada, people, and people might want to look into the massive spike in crime. Let me see here. Okay, there's a joke of Klaus Schwab penetrating the cabinet. So that's what's going on in the non-police state of Canada under the non-communist leader Justin Trudeau, who is not taking bribes from the Chinese Communist Party to ensure that his MPs get elected over conservatives based on foreign interference in elections through the use of disinformation as relates to conservative parties. It's all not happening, and everything is good, and Justin Trudeau is good, and he is a supreme leader, and we should all thank him for his loyal service. All right, what do we have next? No, so I'm not bringing that. That's not what I want to bring up. Next, okay, so hold on. We got Alexa Lavoie, so we're going to close that down. We're going to go back to the state stuff before we end here and then go to locals. Let me see what's going on in the chat on locals. Oh my goodness, there's 127 people watching. There's a lot of comments, and I'm going to get to the, oh my goodness, there's some pictures in there. When we end on Rumble, you're going to want to go over to locals. I was going to bring up something. Oh, yes. Okay, before we get back to the American, I don't often talk about my experience as a lawyer because I'm not good at flattering myself, except to say that I'm short, I have very awkward sized bow legs, and I can run good. I was sworn in 2007 and practiced actively until 2017, 2018, and practiced less actively until 2020. And then even after the COVID, when I had a couple of files left, I've got decent amount of litigation experience and a decent amount of law experience in Quebec. That's the only place I'm certified to practice. The insanity coming out of some legal minds in the US, it will make you laugh and cry and possibly vomit at the same time. We'll get there, but not after. I'm going to address a member of Canadian Parliament who's addressing me. So we got to go all the way back. We got to go all the way back on this thread here. Okay. Oh, it's so flipping good. It's so flipping good. Mark Garrettson, the man who I've been needling because he has a foreign flag in his official member of parliament bio. It could be Ukraine. It could be any other flag. And I would have had the same questions from a serving member of parliament. You're flying a foreign flag in your bio. Who do your loyalties lie with? Am I wrong? And this would apply to anybody, by the way. And it will apply. If there's someone who has a Canadian flag and an Israeli flag in their bio as a sitting member of parliament, I'll ask the same questions because I have the same moral qualms with this. So this is not directed at Ukraine, and I wouldn't give anybody a pass. You fly another flag in your official member of parliament bio while you are a sitting member of parliament. People will rightly question your loyalties. People will rightly question whether or not the policy that you're advocating for is good for the citizens you were elected to represent or the ones you are electing to represent in your Twitter bio. Okay, with that said, Mark Garrettson, king of stupidity by my assessment on Twitter. The sitting Conservative MP refers to this sitting Conservative MP refers to another sitting member of parliament as, quote, an agent of Beijing. I would say it's time to lawyer up Blaine. So first of all, I'm not sure what, parliamentary sovereignty, if it extends past the steps of parliament or where this individual is. This is Blaine Calkins. I don't know who he is. Let's see who this person is. We're going. This is like unthreading inception. Member of parliament for the federal constituency of Red Deer, Alberta. Shadow Minister for Hunting, Fishing, and Conservation. Okay. Doesn't have a foreign flag in his bio. He says,
Blaine Culkin's member of Parliament.
and I think this might have something to do with the story that we just read. I think.
Hi, everybody. Blaine Culkin's member of Parliament here at the Calgary airport on Tuesday morning, heading back to Ottawa to go to the Procedure and House Affairs Committee to try and get answers as to what Justin Trudeau knew, when he knew it, and what the Liberals did about the information they had about one of their candidates
Han Dong
being an agent for Beijing.
The guy's Han Dong.
Canadians deserve answers. I'm off to Ottawa to try and get them.
So the individual that he's talking about is an MP named Han Dong, unless I'm making a mistake, who was the recipient of aid funds. Apparently, his nomination was basically orchestrated by Chinese Communist Party interests. They apparently bust in students. They bust in the elderly, who apparently, as per the CSIS leaks go, had Han Dong's name written on their forearms because they didn't know what the hell they were doing, why they were there. Apparently, Justin Trudeau knew this. And Justin Trudeau came out the other day, if I can find the clip before the stream is over, I will, and said, CSIS doesn't get involved in democracy. It's not because CSIS says something that I have to do it, because that's not how democracy works. How democracy works is Chinese interests, the Chinese Communist Party influencing who gets elected by spreading disinformation about the conservative candidate in that riding.
Hi, everybody. Blaine Culkin's member of
I want
Parliament.
to hear what he said again.
Here at the Calgary airport on Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Heading back to Ottawa.
Heading back to
go
Ottawa.
To the Procedure and House Affairs Committee.
I want some.
Try and get answers
Try to
as
get
to what
answers.
Justin Trudeau knew, when he knew it, and what the Liberals did about the information they had about one of their candidates being an agent for Beijing. Canadians deserve answers. I'm off to Ottawa to try and get them.
Well, that doesn't sound bad to me, but maybe I just lost my sensitivity. Mark Gerritsen says this sitting Conservative MP refers to another sitting MP as an agent of Beijing. Lawyer up. Why? I mean, do we now have a sitting MP threatening another sitting MP with a lawsuit? Is that a problem? I mean, did you just accuse another sitting MP of having broken the law? Because that's defamation. Accusing someone of having committed a crime when they didn't is potentially defamation, and maybe even more so in Canada because we have looser defamation laws that are more plaintiff-friendly, that is to say the defamed-friendly, than the defamer-friendly. It seems to me that Mark Gerritsen is suggesting that Blaine Culkins may have done something illegal. Is it time for him to lawyer up? I shouldn't have called him a dumbass. You literally have the flag of a foreign country with strong Nazi ties in your bio as a sitting member of parliament. You dumbass. Lawyer up, Mark Gerritsen. The thing is this, these are things that I would have said this in person and it would have had my loving, humorous tone, like, you dumbass. But no. So then what happens here? What happens here? And I write, in case of the inevitable block, Liberal MP for Kingston and the Islands, Parliamentary Secretary for the Government House Leader, let's fight back. Let's fight back alt-right. Let's fight back alt-right populism together. Is something wrong with populism, Mark? Are the people not entitled to think they know what's best for them? No, we have to defer to your corrupt regime, your corrupt, compromised regime. So I said, in for the inevitable block, to which he says, block? Are you kidding? You're the reason I do this. I have no problem putting your blatant ignorance on full display so that people know what we are really up against. Good. He has not accepted my invitation to come on and talk about the corruption within his government. Does this go further back? No, it doesn't go further back. He has not accepted it. Mark Gerritsen, you have an open-ended invitation to explain why you are flying the flag of a foreign country in your official MP bio while you are a sitting MP. You have an open-ended invitation to come and explain whether or not the Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated the Liberal Party. You have an open-ended invitation to come onto my channel and justify the 10,064 deaths by government-sanctioned killing, euthanasia, medical assistance in dying, in 2021. You have an open-ended invitation to come on and explain why Canada is siphoning billions of dollars to Ukraine to fund foreign conflict, which is resulting in the death of foreign citizens, not your own. They're not your kids, Mark. You have an open-ended invitation to explain why you're siphoning billions of dollars to fund foreign conflict while we can't even subsidize our own hospitals properly and people are actually dying in the ERs across the country. Open-ended invitation. And by the way, you want to see how a discussion goes with someone who I consider to be an ideological adversary? You can watch my interview with Eugene Gu. It will be respectful, but you'll never come because you are disingenuous, dishonest, and you cannot answer these questions without lying. And so your best bet is to avoid them altogether, as you've done. Put a fork in it. All right. And then just to get back to the Canadian. Oh, geez, it's 3 o'clock. I'm going to be on with Jimmy Dore at 4 o'clock, and I've got to take this after party. Oh, you know what? I'm going to save this for the after party in locals. We're going to end it now. I'm going to share the link to Scary Poppins' stream, put it in Rumble. Everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Snip, clip, share away. Let the world know. For all of those who are screaming into the void, you are not screaming alone. And may we all scream into the void together. And maybe somewhere, someone on the other side of that void is going to hear the truth. Stop promoting locals, my man, Sid Loho. Thank you for the advice. And no. And what you'll also notice, by the way, there's a little red button underneath the Rumble page that says join. You can join me on locals if you want. No pressure. Who said that? Sid Loco? Sid Loho, you might also be surprised. Some people actually take enjoyment in supporting creators that they appreciate. Some people actually would want to do it. And if they don't know where, that's where you can do it. Much in the same way that I enjoy supporting fundraisers, charities, and causes that I thoroughly believe in. I donated the first $1,000 to Jeremy McKenzie's Give, Send, Go campaign that I set up for him. There was someone in our locals community the other day whose dog suffered a slip disc, and they actually spent the money on the surgery. And now they, trying to recoup some of their losses. And I gave them $180. Even though it's not callous, we did not do that surgery on Pudge when she slipped her disc. It was my sister-in-law's dog at the time, because I don't believe in more callous. I don't believe in investing that amount of money into a dog where, you have a child's education to pay for. But I genuinely appreciate that some people would do anything and would go into debt for their dogs. KC15 says Alex Jones. That's Alex Jones was right. Okay, so the next story, which we're going to cover, I'll just give you a little glimpse. Lawrence Tribe with possibly the most idiotic take in the history of constitutional law. I just woke up the dog. I'm sorry. So everybody, you have the link to locals. Let's go have the after party there and address some of the locals chats and tips. Thank you for being here. 4 o'clock, Jimmy Dore this afternoon, people. It's going to be beautiful. And now I'm going to end this stream on Rumble by going to live stream. I'm hitting the end. I'm just going to say end live stream, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. And what else? I know that I have to play something because Rumble tends to cut the last few minutes of the video. So I'm just going to talk for 2 more seconds. And now we're done. See you all on locals. Everybody else, if you're not going to go, see you Sunday night for what is going to be an amazing stream. I was going to talk about the Murdoch conviction today, but we'll talk about that Sunday night. I didn't watch enough of the trial to be any form of an authority to have an opinion on it. I have an opinion. If you want to hear it, we'll talk about it Sunday night with Barnes, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Go, enjoy the day, enjoy the weekend. Locals, I'm a-coming, pa. Yes, we're ending it here. And excuse me, I'm just choking on my own tongue.